Hey,
Hello,
hey.
hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And we hope that many of you can join us on tonight for this, our 21st segment of Total Talk Live.
We grown now. We
Yeah,
real grown.
as, as my wife says, we're legal. So as you can see, we're very, very excited to be back with you guys. Listen, this is our 21st segment. Doesn't necessarily mean we've been gone for 21 weeks, as we have gone to a new method kind of every other week right now during the summertime, as we are moving and shaking, as many would say. But we are rejuvenated and ready to go. Vacation was wonderful, and we hope that you guys are enjoying the summer season as well. I do apologize about that. I hope that didn't show up on your end, but nevertheless, we hope that you're enjoying the summer season with us as well. We're going to wait just a few moments until we get a viewer or two. Tonight's topic is rather interesting. As many of you may captured the title, and so we're excited to be able to share with you from a perspective and put a little bit of a spin on the F word tonight. The F word. So we want to give a few moments.
Okay.
Give a few moments. And we won't be before you long on tonight. But nevertheless, as you can see, we're in our Redskin gear, marching right into July, anticipating the upcoming football season. I know some of you out there, if you are sports enthusiasts, may have been. Hello, hey Miss Lynn, hope you're doing well.
I saw you looking fancy.
Looking fly,
Stepping out
I
on the big
see
city.
you, Miss Lynn, yes. Miss Lynn, you're a blessing. Glad to see you, glad to have you.
Hey,
All
to
right.
everybody else.
Hey, everybody
too.
else, feel free to drop us a line. Let us know who you are. Let us know who's on with us tonight. We'll get started here in a few moments. Go ahead and drop us a line. Tell us who's with us on tonight. Real quick, we also want to say, those of you who are on right now, one of the things that my wife does is when we log on, when I go live, we immediately share the video. So if you would, we want to reach as many people as possible with this segment tonight. So go ahead and share this video. Share it right now.
And then some of you do watch parties.
And you can also do a watch party. Yeah, you can also do a watch party. So you can do a watch party. There's several ways to be a promulgator for Total Talk and just help us get the word out. Help people. Help us help people. That is our whole mission and goal and plan as it pertains to our ability to communicate a message to you all every other week now. I was going to say each and every week, but every other week now. That is a good way for you to help us get the message out. So go ahead and share this video. Drop us a line. Tell us who's on. Guys, we want to know who's on. Go ahead and drop us a line. Say hi, hello. Let us know who's watching on tonight. We'd love to be able to engage you. Again, this is your Total Talk, so we love to have conversation and just share some dialogue with you. So let us know who's on tonight, and we'd be glad to speak back to you and just acknowledge you on tonight. Yes, dynamic duo. Thank you, Miss Lynn. Thank you. We trying. We out here trying to live our best life. Some would say we might be trying to do it a little prematurely, but that's all right. We doing it in our time, and my wife has got her tutoring business going pretty good. You want to go ahead and give a plug for Dynamic Instruction real quick before we get started?
Yes, so Dynamic Instruction, that is our Facebook page for our tutoring business. I tutor virtually, I tutor face-to-face, so don't worry if you're not here locally. I have had so much success virtually. It's amazing the things that you can do with technology.
Yes, it is.
You just get on an app, meet just like face to face. I can share my screen. The child can share their screen. So if you need tutoring, I tutor from pre-K all the way up through college. So if you need tutoring, there's no age limit because anybody can go to college, of course.
That's
I can't
right.
give you an age limit.
That's
so
right.
if you need tutoring, your kids, your grandkids, please look us up. It's Dynamic Instruction. We would love to assist you. Had some great successes, some honor rolls. One of the students was inducted into the Honor Society. It's just amazing, and it makes you feel really good to know that you're planting this seed to help the child holistically, not just in the classroom, but also with their confidence. So if you know someone or if you're in need, please let us know. We'll be glad to assist you.
She dope, y'all. It ain't we, it's her. She dope.
You pushed me.
I did.
So it's we.
I used to be in the classroom, but glad and kind of doing a dance and a shout on the fact that I'm not. Even though I don't have my summer anymore, I enjoyed my tenure. I'll put it that way. I enjoyed my tenure. And I missed my kids, but I still stay in contact with a lot of my kids who I used to teach. But anyway, about my wife. My wife's tutoring business is going phenomenal. She is filling up slots right now for the summer. So please, please, please. Doesn't matter where you're at. I don't care if you're all the way in Oregon, if you're in Japan, if you're in China. I don't care where you're at. My wife can tutor your child. We may have a little bit of a language barrier, may need to get an interpreter, but we can work on that too. We jack of all trades around here. We'll make it happen. But anyway, no, seriously, y'all, I'm cutting up. But anyway, no, seriously, slots are filling up fast, and I'm incredibly proud of my wife. I'm a little biased, that's okay, but I'm incredibly proud of her and her push and how she has just defied odds and done things that she didn't even believe she could do a year or two ago. So these last 12 months have been amazing, and the way that she has just embraced this vision, her own vision. This is something she shared with me, and I just was like, hey, what are you waiting on? So guys, listen, that's a message in and of itself. Don't sit on something and second guess what you already know you should be doing. That ain't faith. So in order to walk by faith and not by sight, you've got to take the first step. You've got to take the first step. And once this young lady took her first step, I believe she saw some incredible doors open. Not to mention, I must gloat just a tad bit before we get started. My wife was inducted into the Teacher Leadership Academy this year. She was recognized by the county superintendent personally in an online blog. Then, not to mention, she has also received a certificate, a certificate graduating out of the county's technological program, which certifies her as a technological guru, so to speak, in the classroom. So this woman is really persevering through what was some struggles in her career early on, not because of any problems of her own, so to speak, but just the natural inherited issues that take place being an educator in the 21st century. So I'm incredibly proud of you, babe. I'm glad that you persevered. Now, let's jump forward into just F it. Like, just F it. Just F it.
Watch your mouth.
Watch my mouth. Ow. That kind of hurt. Not really. But just F it. Now, I know many of you may have jumped on tonight and was like, wait a minute. Is this couple getting ready to drop some bombs on the night? Nah, gotcha. The idea behind the topic on tonight, just F it, is the perspective that we want to share pertaining to the natural ability that we all have just to let things go, just to move on past a situation that has just literally kept you bound. What is it that you may have been holding on to that may have kept you bound throughout your life, that has contained you for a matter of decades, a matter of time, a matter of a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? What is it that you have been waiting to possess? What is it that you know that you have to possess, that is within your reach, that you just may have been holding on to something, whether it be something against a coworker, something that happened in your past, something that happened between you and your spouse, something that happened between you and your family. Sometimes you just have to say, just F it. And so I would like for my wife to expound a little bit without giving our 2 words away.
Ooh, that's hard. It's like playing what is it? Charades?
I don't know, babe.
Charades, yeah. So the big
Y'all know the games.
the big thing is to just make sure that you're moving on. Now, how do you move on? Sometimes you ask, like, how do I move on when, I've been hurt, or, this person said something, or maybe they didn't say anything to you,
Well, this is a natural, if you're married or if you're in, I won't just say married, excuse me. Let me be inclusive for our audience on tonight. This isn't just about marriage. Let me, you might see the beautiful picture behind us and things like that. This isn't just about marriage, but what I really want you to capture is, how do you move on? Dealing with the question that my wife just, how do you move on in a circumstance or a situation in a relationship? A lot of time we hear the word relationship and we think about man, woman, we think about marriage, we think about dating, we think about all those other things. But you all, every single person who's watching on tonight, you right there, you're in a relationship, multiple relationships, right? All right. And I'm not insinuating anything ridiculous. Okay, guys. All right. Come on. So you're in relationships. You have coworkers. You have a boss. You have a supervisor. You have peer-to-peer relationships. You have a multiplicity of relationships that you are engaged in. But many times we harbor things that keep us from pursuing the other things. So we hold on to a grudge, or we hold on to something someone said, or that keep us bound and keep us from really occupying what it is we really should be occupying. And we hear these uplifting messages week in and week out, and it's spoken over us that your greater is coming, right? Your best is yet to come. But guess what? Your greater can be right in front of you, but you might not be able to obtain it because you can't relinquish something else. Lady E, can you expound on that?
I think it comes from communication, because a lot of times we feel like we're communicating certain things and certain feelings, even with ourselves. You may say, I'm fine. Like, you'll ask me all the time, you all right, babe? I'm good. But if you're not communicating even with yourself to let yourself know that, hey, I need to get over this. I need to relinquish. I need to move on. I need to move forward.
Or the lack thereof.
Yeah, or the lack thereof. Then there's a breakdown. And so communicating not only with those people that you're in relationship with, but with yourself to know, like, how am I feeling? What is going on? So that you can move on. Then, that's not taking place. Then that's another roadblock. And you have to look at yourself introspectively and say, hey, what do I need to do to move forward and to progress so that I can reach that greater and next level?
That's right. So how do we reach our greater? How do we get that best is yet to come outcome, but move past a situation or an obstacle or a hurdle that's standing in our way, Lady E? First thing we got to deal with is the F squared mentality. So we're going to talk about 2 F words on tonight. 2 F words. And none of them have 4 letters, I don't think. Right? No. So I'm going to deal with the first one, y'all. I'm going to deal with the first one. Listen. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things, me personally, that I've ever had to do. Mm-hmm. How many of you can attest to the fact that it's not easy to forgive somebody? How many of you, I'll put both hands up too. Mm-hmm. All right. How many of you can attest to the fact that forgiving is one of the hardest things to do, but forgiveness is necessary? Now, I don't mean to sound cliche or mimic your pastor or your mentor or your teacher or your professor or whoever it is who taught you that you must forgive, or who speaks to you regarding forgiveness. And yes, forgiveness is necessary. Now, I didn't say it was easy, but it is necessary. Forgiveness. How many of you know on tonight that forgiveness can keep you, yes, Lynn, stuck? Mm-hmm. Forgiveness, the lack of forgiveness will keep you stuck. How is it that you can go about your life and smile knowing that somebody stabbed you in the back? How is it that you can go about living your life after you know that your best friend may have slept with your husband? How is it? Yes, I'm being real on tonight, y'all. Listen, these things happen on a day-to-day basis. We've heard some crazy stuff. We've been married almost 8 years, and we've had friends who've gotten married since we got married and gotten divorced since then. Listen, I need you to understand something on tonight, that an incredible, incredible word will change your life, and that is forgiveness. If you just learn to let some things go, learn to smile in the midst of adversity, learn to just simply address sometimes. I heard a wonderful message on today from my incredible friend and pastor, and he shared something regarding the fact that we've got to learn to address our mountains. I need y'all to understand something. We have been given the authority to speak to mountains and they be moved. What I need you to understand on tonight, that is, a lot of us don't operate in that authority, meaning we don't speak to our situations and believe that they can and will move.
Yeah.
The problem is, a lot of times, the reason we're stuck in a stagnant state, yes, I said it, stagnant state, where we will not forgive or cannot forgive, is because of our stubbornness, but also because of our willingness to engage that stagnant place. Because if I can get, oh my goodness, if I can get somebody to believe what I believe, then I feel like I'm validated in my unforgiveness. Oh, I'm getting too deep for y'all on tonight. If I can get validated in my unforgiveness, then I feel like, listen, I don't have to forgive.
Yep.
The point I'm trying to make on tonight is, if you do not willfully forgive, then you will willfully not attain your greater. And you'll be wondering 10 to 15 to 20 years later, why is this still a thing, so to speak, in my life? Why am I still dealing with the same circumstances? Why am I still having the same conversations? Why am I still dealing with the same problems? Why am I still not out of debt? Why am I still at this job, knowing that I have the credentials to move forward, but I'm stuck. I'm in the same place and I'm stuck. But why am I stuck?
I gotta ask you a question. I'm gonna let you just go on and run with it, but this is
Sure.
a good question. Now, when you feel like you're stuck, what do you do? And once you decide that, hey, I'm going to forgive, what does that do for you personally?
Well, me personally,
for the person, for whoever forgives, because it's kind of, universal.
I mean, I can answer it personally. Yeah. I can answer it generally. I think one of the things that what it does for us is, and I told my wife this today. I had a scenario or a situation. It wasn't pertaining to forgiveness, but I'm describing this to help articulate the feeling and what it does, to answer my wife's question completely. So one of the things that I think it does is it uplifts and kind of brings it kind of lays aside a weight. It's like, has anyone ever physically, like honestly, like, be real on tonight, y'all, like physically felt a weight lift off of you when you gave up something, or you let go of a grudge, or you forgave somebody? Have you ever literally physically felt like, whew, wow? And you didn't, and like, honestly, you didn't realize you were carrying this extra weight. But when you let it go, there was a physical, an emotional, and even a mental difference in yourself. Guys, I need you to understand something on tonight. That the problem is, the reason why we think in certain ways is because we have not opened a neurological pathway. Oh my God, I don't want to get too deep on you. But listen, in my graduate studies, one of the things that we studied was, I believe we touched on this when I was getting a graduate certificate in organizational communication. Okay, so one of the things we touched on was the brain. So we talked about kind of some psychological things. And I actually had this point validated when I went to a lunch and learn with the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. So I because of what I do, I get the opportunity to be in some pretty decent places with some pretty decent people. All right. So I was in front of this renowned author and had an incredible experience there and had this information validated there. So check this out. So unforgiveness can literally keep you from having a new neurological pathway that translates information in your mind.
Just think about that.
Just let that settle for a second. So when we talk about stuck and stagnant, that is real, y'all. It is so real, because when you are operating in unforgiveness and you are hindered in your mentality, think about listen, mentality. The root word is mental. When you have a certain mentality, it is a mental condition.
Yeah.
I need us to deal with that in our community, because the problem is we don't want to talk about the mental we're starting to now, thank God, because the thing is we have so much stuff in here that we haven't let go and we don't realize is stopping us from making forward progression. Mm-hmm. So to answer my wife's question is, what does forgiveness do? It opens up the mind. It relinquishes weight, which is why my Bible says, lay aside every weight that so easily ensnares us. Do you want to know why it easily ensnares us? Great, I'm glad you asked. The reason it easily ensnares us is because we are in a weakened state or mentality. When you have the spiritual fortitude to endure without having such offense or taking offense to every little thing someone says or I don't have enough time tonight, it says or does, then I promise you, you will not be so offended. You will not be so mentally stagnant, because you won't focus on every little thing that someone does or says to you, because you are so you're validated in and of yourself. And so in turn, you just let it roll off you. As my grandmama used to say, she said, just let it roll off your back like water, baby. And so what I need y'all to understand on tonight is that you have got to relinquish things in order to get your greater, in order to get your promise, in order to get your best is yet. Mm-hmm. See, I feel like these are colloquialisms and somewhat even cliches that we use on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. And I love it. I love it. I love it. But when are we going to start dealing with why 2019 has come and 2020 is like less than 6 months away, and I'm still struggling and still haven't met the goal that I set in 2005 or 2010. Listen, y'all, I firmly believe that we are in a expedited season whereby we have the victory, the ability, and the opportunity. My God. Victory, ability, opportunity. VAO. Listen, y'all, I love abbreviations. I love them. VAO. Victory, authority. What I said? Ability. I'm sorry. Victory, ability. See, I love authority too. Y'all can use those interchangeably. So victory, ability, and opportunity. You don't lack nothing. You don't lack nothing. The only thing you lack, if you lack anything, if you lack anything, is your willingness to forgive. So just F it. Just let it go. My grandfather used to say, I was telling my wife this a couple weeks ago, we used to be on road trips, right? So we took vacation. So, we do a lot of talking and reminiscing and have nostalgic moments because we listen to old music, listen to Isley Brothers and stuff while we in the car riding down the road. So I'm in the car and I literally had a James Dye moment, and I'm sitting there and I don't know what me and my wife was talking about, but check this out. So we're riding down the road, and I remembered how my grandfather used to sing, like if somebody was like talking about something and they just start rambling and going on and on about their problems and their issues and stuff like that. He used to get to a point where he started to sing, y'all know that song by Teddy P. Think I better let it go, baby. And that's my word to you tonight. Let it go. Let it go. Just forgive it. Just forget. What are we scared of? What are we afraid of, Lady E? What are we afraid of? Are we afraid of looking like a smaller person? Are we afraid of? Can you deal with that for the people on tonight? Because listen, I'm not putting you on the. Listen, I'm not. Y'all know I love this thing right here. Woo, I love this thing. But listen, I'm not putting you on don't feel like I'm putting you out there. Mm-hmm. But I know that you have personally dealt with this aspect of it where you don't want to look like the smaller person. Can you talk to the people out there? They need a woman's perspective on this. Can you talk to them about that?
It is all wrapped up in your pride. Let me just come straight forward and say, you know, when you're taught in school, they tell you tell the kids, be the bigger person. It's like, I don't want to be the bigger person. Like, I feel like they did me wrong. Why I got to forgive them? And I think one of the hardest things.
But is it for them?
It's bingo. It's forgiving someone. You don't even have to say anything to them. You don't have to call them and say, I forgive you. If you do that, then that's, that is the bigger person look. But you can just say, make up in your mind and say, I forgive this person. Call it out. Speak it out into the atmosphere. I forgive you for leaving me when I was a baby. I forgive you for sleeping with my husband or my wife, as you said earlier. I forgive you for XYZ. And then you will feel that weight being lifted off of you. I'm going to talk, I hadn't even shared this with my husband, but I'm going to say this, and I hope it's okay. My father died when I was 3 years old. And thought
it was something I did. Thought she was about to tell me something I didn't know. Oh, God.
And we lost his grave when I was probably about 10 years old. Never found it. Knew the area. Well, my great uncle passed, and we went looking for my father's grave while we were out there. And so my husband took it upon himself. Around Father's Day, he found my father's grave. He called the city in which he's buried in, and he had it flagged. So long story short, we were passing through the area. We went, and I had a moment, of course. He was there, the kids was there, and I never told him this. We hadn't really sat down and talked about it in depth, but I was standing there. I got chills, y'all. It was like 90-some degrees outside. I got chills, and I felt myself get lighter, because there were things that, even though I was 3 years old, I had unforgiveness in my heart for my father. And I just have to shoot you straight. And we've talked about it on multiple times. Like, there was a part of me that I just wanted to know why. There were so many questions I had. But standing there in that moment, I heard him whisper to me. And it was like a burden was lifted off of me. So I'm not going to cry. I'm good. But it's just amazing, like, the simple act that he did and this was around Father's Day. He put my father ahead of him, who is the father of our children, because he knew that it meant so much to me. And so just standing there in that moment and forgiving my father meant more to me than anything in the world. So when he says that, we know what it's like to have unforgiveness. And I mean, and people may say, like, how do you have unforgiveness built up against someone who is gone on, who is not even here? It happens every day, guys. And my thing is, if you can rectify a situation, or if you can go on and relinquish whatever it is in your heart, because trust me, it's not worth it, guys. I mean, I could go on and on, grudges and everything that I held on to with people. And when I just finally decided to let go, the weight just, even within our marriage, we're very transparent with people. I mean, that's what we base ourselves in. Like, when we finally said, hey, let's just be real. If we're going to stay married, we got to figure out, we got to forgive each other. We got to move on. We got to talk about this. We got to move on from it and say, okay, it's out there. It's done. Now, what are we going to do to progress and move forward? Now, I have to say this. When you forgive someone, sometimes the relationship is not meant to be brought back to the forefront. Just because you forgive someone does not mean that you go back to where you were before whatever transpired. You forgive for yourself to be freed. It doesn't mean that you have to go back to that same situation and the same things happen again, a perpetual cycle, if you get what I'm saying. You forgive, and it leads into the next F word. Do you want to go on?
Go ahead.
You forgive, and some people say, well, I may forgive, but I don't what? I know sometimes it takes us a little long to type, but I will never forget what happened. Now, there's two sides to that. However, you don't forget because you don't want to go through the same thing over and over and over. And we've talked about this with relationships, friendships, marriages, whatever it may be. you don't want to go through the same thing over and over, because that's the definition of insanity. That's However, right. You do have to forget to a certain extent where you don't hold it over the other person's head. If you truly forgive someone, you're not going to bring it back up every time you get into an argument or there's a disagreement, because then you truly have not forgiven them in your heart, because you're dangling it over them like a carrot. And every time something happens, you're going to bring that back up to justify your case.
Which, by the way, babe, I ain't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
Hold your thought. So, which, by the way, is a form of manipulation. Mm-hmm. Y'all, we're going to kill the devil up in here today. I need you to understand that is a form of manipulation. Both of us have done that to each other in our marriage. The first couple years of our marriage was rough. I'll tell you honest God truth.
Hey, family.
Rough. Anybody who's married on this knows I don't care. Listen, I don't believe, and this might mess with your theology. It might mess with your mentality. It might mess with your psychology. I don't know what it may mess with, but I'm getting ready to shoot you something real quick. I do not believe you can ever be prepared for anything that you've never had to do before. You cannot be prepared for something you never had to do before. Okay? Everyone has a blind spot. You will encounter something that you did not and could not prepare for. You will encounter something, again, I'm going to repeat that you did not and could not prepare for. You will. So everyone who's out there who's single and who may say, oh, well, my finances is straight. That ain't it. That ain't all marriage is about. Every man who says, well, I can provide, I make this much money. That ain't what it's about. If you can't provide emotionally, I don't care what you can buy her. Crickets. Listen, y'all, if you've never been a parent before, but you babysat, it ain't the same thing.
Trust me.
It ain't the same thing. We know. Both my wife and I helped raise other children, babysat and everything. Listen, understand something. It ain't the same thing. So there's no practice for this thing called marriage. And a lot of people get out there and try to practice, and that's how you wind up messing up. Mm-hmm. So let me say this. I said all of that, and we got real transparent for a reason, to say this. Listen, y'all, forgiveness and not necessarily forgetting, so to speak, but not saying I forgive somebody, but using the transgression as fuel to, as my wife said, be hang the carrot over their head and manipulate them all the time into feeling guilty. It's terrible. That's terrible. And not to mention, that's still technically unforgiveness. You haven't forgiven anything. If you can recall every single last transgression that somebody did to you, every time they do something or say something that doesn't that you don't identify with, then guess what, y'all? You didn't forgive them. Newsflash, you didn't forgive them. PSA, you didn't forgive. You did not forgive. You didn't forgive. Because if you can recall that information and just hang it over them and say, yeah, well, you did this to me. You did this to me. And so you owe me an apology. And then y'all, come on now. We've got to mature. We've got to mature spiritually and grow to the point that we're willing to grow, not just individually, that we're willing to grow in our relationships that we conduct on a day-to-day basis, in order that we might be fruitful and multiply. Now, a lot of times I hear people talk about that as it pertains to children, and we grew up hearing be fruitful and multiply and all these other things when you get married and all that other stuff. But I believe that we are selling ourselves short if we do not be fruitful and multiply in our relationships, because we were created to be in relationship with people. Not to mention, we were created that those relationships might help us to multiply in life, in every facet of life. So if we were created to multiply in every facet of life, life, but we have unforgiveness in our hearts. And everywhere we go, we don't trust a person. Everywhere we go, we feel like we have to manipulate a situation in order to cause people to feel guilty as it pertains to us. Then guess what? You are doing nothing but operating in a spirit of unforgiveness that will hinder your ability to progress in life. I didn't say in that one relationship. I did not say just in your household. I said in life. In life, Lady E.
I think it's a good place to I think we need to do a part 2 of this.
Part 2?
Okay. I do. I think we need to do a part 2.
I'm with part 2.
Because there's a lot to discuss. And from that, I do want to say that I'm very appreciative for all the dialogue tonight. I think
Absolutely.
So far.
Yeah, I want to shout out Miss Tanisha Dukes. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the dialogue. We will respond to the comments, but yes, those are awesome. You're exactly right. Not the same. Girlfriend, boyfriend, it ain't the same. Whatever. Play partners, that ain't the same. You acting married, but you ain't married. Listen, when you get in this thing, I promise you, it is something totally, totally different. And so you're exactly right, Tanisha. Thank you so much. Forgiveness plus forget equals freedom. Absolute, Lynn. Yeah, come on. That's the remedy. That is the formula right there. And that's the equation. Forgiveness plus forget. Now, I don't necessarily mean that you will get amnesia, but it shouldn't be something that you can easily recall on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis with your spouse or your coworker and all these other kinds of things. These close-knit relationships that we common citizens have on a day-to-day basis, where we recall these things and hang them over people's head. That's not freedom. We're not operating in the full capacity of our freedom. You're exactly right, Lynn. Thank you so much. What else we got? It's rough, but God. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, marriage ain't rough now. I don't know if that's what y'all was referring to, but yeah, marriage ain't rough now. It was when I couldn't forgive my wife. I'm just shooting straight. I'm be honest. And so we have to relinquish things and not hang on to certain circumstances. And then we can move on. Then we can grow and we can be fruitful and multiply together. Listen, and I think we are seeing the fruits of our forgiveness towards each other. I mean, I'm not just saying I was the only one. My wife had a season where she couldn't forgive me for something. So the reality is, guys, when we relinquish things, we are able to unlock endless opportunity. Because we were created to multiply. We were created to grow. No seed was ever sown just to stay a seedling.
Yeah.
No seed was ever sown just to remain a seed. Manipulation is bondage. Absolutely. And I'm not even going to go into what else it could be too. Manipulation. Never mind. I'm not even going to go into that. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
So I want to leave everybody with this. While you were talking, it made me think about forgiveness and forgetting. I know a lot of you up here have children, but if you don't, I'm sure you've encountered kids or been around kids. So for us, when we chastise our children, they cry, they go, and then 5 minutes later, especially our youngest daughter, she comes right back. And she's hugging, Daddy, I love you so much. Mommy, I love you so much. She's just so happy. And it's like, we just popped you. We just reprimanded you, whatever it may be. But what did she do? She forgave us, one, which we probably should be the other way around. But she forgave us.
Don't let me forget to hit that.
And it's like she forgot. Guys, sometimes we have to liken ourselves to a little child.
Yes. Say
and
that.
We have to forgive and forget. So the next time you're in a situation and you like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get over this. Think about that whooping you got from your mama, your grandma, whoever raised you when they told you to go out there and get that switch.
Yeah.
And then 30 minutes later at lunchtime, you were better. Yeah. Liken yourself to a little child and forgive and forget.
And we're done. I'm closing out. We're done. That was amazing. It was a great place to close out. We will do part 2 in the next couple of weeks. Miss Gray, I want to shout you out. Miss April Carpenter Gray. Y'all, I need y'all to know that is my former high school teacher, y'all. She and I have still been connected after all these years. God bless you, lady. Miss Gray, I love you, love you, love you, love you. And you are absolutely right. Sometimes people cannot forgive others because they can't forgive themselves. Mm-hmm. And do you know what, Miss Gray? That's exactly where we're going to pick up next time. Yes. I was about to say tomorrow. Yes. We're going to pick up next time. Y'all, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Meet us here. Meet us here. And again, share the video. Share the video. Yes. Share the video. Share the video. Share the video. Did I mention that I would like for y'all to share the video? I strongly would like if you all would share the video. Please share the video for us. If you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed the dialogue, you enjoyed the commentary, give us a review right there on our Total Talk Live Facebook page. Thank you so much, Miss Gray. So yeah, drop us a review or whatever they call it on Facebook. Yeah. Give changes us every day. Yeah, it changes every day. Every time we get an update, it just, But anyway, drop us a review. Give us 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever you think we qualify for. And if you feel like you got to give us a 1, then just don't leave nothing. Or ask us what we can do better. Or tell us what we can do better, excuse me. But please give us a nice review, if you would, on our Facebook page. And also share this with something positive that you took from tonight. Even if it is a quote from Lady E or myself, please share those. We love to hear that you guys are retaining whatever it is that God has spoken through us. So we're excited. We're excited that we will be continuing to bring you a part 2 in 2 weeks. Part 2 in 2 weeks. Everyone, listen, we had a wonderful vacation. Hope you guys are having an amazing start to your summer. All the educators out there, you deserve this. Get to a beach near you. And we've already been. We spent 6 days, Pawleys Island, South Carolina. And now we're getting ready to head back to my wonderful hometown to celebrate the 4th of July holiday. So guys, listen. Enjoy the remainder of your summer. We'll meet you guys right back here. I believe that is July 14th. I believe it's that day. Sunday, July 14th. Meet us here. Have a wonderful holiday. Peace.
Good night.